The extended divine address. A deepening of truth to you, my beloved child, who has wandered far rest. Breathe in the stillness of this boundless space. Before you stands not a judge waiting to pronounce sentence, but the source of all being, the origin of the love that first sparked your soul into existence. Shed your mortal concepts of time and distance, for here, in the stillness, only truth prevails. I see the fear that grips your heart, the fear of a final, irreversible accounting. Cast it aside. I tell you again, I did not create you for damnation. Damnation is merely the final, desolate state chosen by a soul that ultimately rejects the offer of return. I created you for love, and for you to express that love freely, thereby enriching the tapestry of creation itself. Your sin is not an offense against my power. It is a profound misalignment of your spirit with the universal harmonic of love. The anatomy of misunderstanding. You believed the whisperings of the fleeting world, the echoes of scarcity and separation. These are the delusions that drove your actions. The delusion of scarcity, Vin's greed. Vin, you saw the world as a finite pie, where if others held a large slice, your own would inevitably shrink. Your life became a relentless, anxious race to accumulate. You confused having with being. You used your physical vitality and sharp cunning, gifts I gave you for building and fostering, to tear down and to seize. The objects you stole were not the real prize. You were trying to steal safety. But safety is not a commodity stored in a vault. It is a state of grace found only in trust and connection. The more you took, the more unsafe you felt. For every act of robbery fortified the fortress of fear around your heart. The delusion of separation, Thuong's deceit. Thuong, you feared that your genuine self was insufficient, unlovable, or fundamentally broken. You used the brilliant tool of language, the vessel of shared reality, to construct a radiant facade. You wove lies to earn approval, respect, and affection. Yet every truth you denied created a distance between your soul and the receiver of your words. You locked yourself within a splendid, articulate prison of pretense. Love, my child, is only possible in the presence of authenticity. When you lied, you forced others to love an illusion, and thus, you stood heartbreakingly alone, starved for the connection only honesty can provide. The delusion of sovereignty, Anne's arrogance. Anne, your sin was the most subtle and perhaps the most tragic. You sought to replace my order with your own. Armed with a formidable intellect, you deemed humanity weak and incapable of self-governance. You stole their sacred gift of free will, forcing them into structures designed not for their flourishing, but for your control. You told yourself you sacrificed morality for the greater good, but in truth you sacrificed the soul for the ego. You declared yourself the sole arbiter of fate, forgetting that true sovereignty belongs only to love, and all delegated power must serve freedom, never suppress it. Arrogance is the highest treason against the nature of creation. The fabric of existence, the thread of connection now. Contemplate the true architecture of the universe, which is built not on laws of gravity, but on laws of relationship. Every living soul is connected to every other soul by an energetic, invisible filament, the thread of connection. This is the mechanism by which I ensure no action is ever private, no thought is ever truly isolated. When a soul expresses love through compassion, generosity, and truth, that thread vibrates in harmonious resonance, strengthening the entire fabric of existence, enriching even the distant stars. But when you choose sin, you pluck that thread discordantly. The vibration becomes a chaotic distortion. The pain felt by the victim instantly echoes back to the perpetrator. This is not a punishment I administer. It is a natural, immutable law of spiritual physics. When you wound another, the wound opens first in your own soul, manifesting as fear, isolation, anxiety, and emptiness. Sin is fundamentally a confusion about identity. You mistakenly believe you can benefit yourself by harming another. But since the other is you, in another form, you are merely inflicting self-harm through a circuitous route. 3. The sacred gift of free will. Why do I allow this possibility of separation and pain? Why do I allow the choice of sin? Because the alternative, a universe of automatons programmed for perpetual compliance, is a universe without love. Love, by definition, requires freedom. I sought partners in creation, not puppets. I gave you free will so that your choice to turn toward love would be a genuine, magnificent declaration, echoing through eternity. Your free will is the most precious and terrifying gift. It means you can reject the light even while standing within it. It means you can deny the thread of connection even while you are bound by it. But it also means you possess the absolute sovereign power to initiate restoration at any single, chosen moment. Fu, the call to restoration. The path. Home, my demand is not retribution. It is restoration. Retribution seeks payment. Restoration seeks wholeness, to return to the thread. You must engage in a process that uses the very mechanisms of your sin as instruments of repair. The confession of regret. The seed. Regret is not despair. It is the honest acknowledgement of error, the tear that washes the illusion from your eyes. When you fully admit, I chose wrongly, you open the door of your heart. But regret must be coupled with the willingness to face the consequences, not run from them. The reversal of power, the action, the true work begins now. You must reverse the energy of the sin. Vin, the thief, must become Vin, the builder. The courage you used to break into homes must now be used to stand guard over the vulnerable. The cunning you used to hide stolen goods must now be used to find and distribute resources to those who truly lack. Your hands, once closed in a grasping fist, must learn to be open in service. Thuong, the deceiver, must become Thuong, the witness. The eloquence you used to spin webs of lies must now be dedicated to speaking unvarnished truth, even when it costs you comfort or approval. You must become the unwavering anchor of honesty for those around you, rebuilding trust one sincere, transparent interaction at a time. And the tyrant must become Anne, the servant leader. Your powerful intellect, once used to manipulate systems for control, must now be dedicated to dismantling oppression and empowering others. You must use your authority to defend the free will of the lowest and least among you, understanding that true leadership is synonymous with service. The path of restoration is not instant absolution. It is a lifetime commitment to living as a repairer of the breach, a witness to the truth, and a testament to the fact that change is always possible. B. The eternal promise, you will be returned to the world, carrying not the darkness of your past, but the light of this understanding. Temptation will return, doubt will arise. The world will try to convince you that the old lies are safer, easier, but you now carry a map, the knowledge of the thread of connection. You know where home is. Every choice you make henceforth, every small act of love, every refusal of the old sin, is a step closer to me and a step closer to your truest self. I am not merely in the heavens watching. I am the sustaining current within the thread that binds you. My light never ceases to seek you out, to hold you, to guide you. Remember this truth when you falter. I do not care what you have done. I care what you will do next. The choice is yours, my child. Choose love. Choose restoration. Choose truth. Go forth and live the hope that is now born within you. V. The paradox of earthly justice. Do not harbor the illusion that my forgiveness is an immediate eraser of worldly accountability. The consequences in the mortal realm are real and necessary. When you return to the world, you will face the systems and laws designed by the systems of men. Imprisonment, financial ruin, public scorn, or social rejection. Do not mistake these external circumstances for my punishment. They are merely the echoes of discord caused by your initial fracture of the thread of connection. True restoration requires you to accept these echoes without bitterness or the plea of false martyrdom. You must embrace the justice of men not as a cruel sentence, but as a crucible for transformation. To Vin, this means accepting the physical confinement, the bars of a cell, not as a cage of final retribution, but as a space for forced stillness, a rare opportunity for introspection. Within that stillness, the anxious need to take must be replaced by the quiet power to give, even if that gift is simply kindness to a fellow inmate. To Thuong, this means enduring the long, agonizing silence and suspicion of those you deceived. You must accept that time and consistent, transparent truth are the only currency accepted for rebuilding trust. Forgiveness from others is not your right. It is a gift they may or may not choose to grant. Your task is to become the unwavering anchor of honesty, expecting nothing in return. To Anne, this means living under the scrutiny and judgment of the masses he once sought to control. You must accept that true authority is never seized by force but is granted through genuine humility and proven service. Your intellect must now labor not to build walls of control, but to dismantle the very structures of oppression you helped create. You must never use my spiritual forgiveness as a shield against human consequence. Instead, let my love be the inner foundation that allows you to fulfill these consequences with dignity, turning enforced isolation into chosen contemplation, and required restitution into active, selfless service. This acceptance is the final, highest act of free will, choosing alignment with truth, even when the immediate cost is pain. 7. The mechanism of healing, the parable of the broken vessel to truly grasp the depth of restoration. Contemplate the parable of the broken vessel, known in your world as kintsugi. Imagine a beautiful clay pot, fashioned by my own hands. This vessel represents your life, your potential, and the lives of those you touched. Out of the arrogance of your own flawed design, Anne, you threw the pot down, shattering it. Out of the fear of scarcity, Vin, you hoarded the largest fragments, believing they were more valuable alone. Out of the shame of deceit, Thuong, you lied, claiming the pot was never whole, or that the breakage was someone else's fault. When you finally gathered the myriad shards, you cried out, asking me to magically make the damage disappear, to return the pot to its original unblemished state. But the miracle is not in disappearance, it is in integration. I took the fragments and I did not melt them down into shapeless clay. Instead, I gave you a golden, luminous mortar, the mortar of compassion and intentionality, mixed with the pure essence of regret. And I told you, you must put the pieces back together, slowly, carefully, with the full knowledge and acceptance of where every break occurred. The finished vessel, though cracked and clearly mended, is not a compromised imitation. It is a higher form of beauty than the original. It is laced with shimmering gold, tracing the map of every failure, every moment of confusion, every act of careful, intentional repair. This is the art of the mended life. The breaks are now the most valuable parts of the story, for they are the pathways through which a new, resilient light can shine. Your sins, once sources of weakness and shame, become the very fault lines you fortify with love, transforming them into lines of unique testimonial strength. The mended vessel does not hide its history. It celebrates it as a testament to the power of redemption. Aid, the inevitability of doubt and the anchor of hope. You will leave this space, and the immediacy of the light will fade, replaced by the persistent gray of the world's doubt. You will question if this understanding was merely a dream. You will doubt your strength, your worthiness, and even my constancy. This is the final trial of the free will, the confrontation with the self, alone in the face of uncertainty. In those moments, when the darkness seems absolute, recall 3 anchors. Anchor 1, the echo of pain. Do not suppress the memory of the emptiness that sin brought you. Use it as a navigational tool. When a choice feels like the start of that familiar cold isolation, stop. That pain is the alarm bell of the thread of connection, telling you that separation is near. Anchor 2, the face of the injured. Never forget the faces of those you harmed. Not to wallow in guilt, but to remember the specific, measurable nature of the required restoration. Let their well-being be the focus of your daily work, shifting your gaze from self-obsession to outward service. Anchor 3, the stillness within. Remember this place, this moment of absolute clarity. I dwell not only in the grand, sweeping stars, but in the most fundamental silence within your own heart. When in doubt, seek the stillness. I am the sustaining current within the thread that binds you. You are never truly lost, only momentarily distracted. Your journey is not merely about achieving perfection, but about the relentless intention of moving toward the light. Every step taken in truth is a victory that resonates across creation. Go forth, my beloved. Your work begins now.